Bro, that thing is gonna suck people in.
Well, the bottom line in Hollywood is money, money, money. I just am not like a very good school learner. Like I struggled with that.
Oh, that's okay, bro. I think everyone from Marco is. So bro, so I don't think
that might be the truth.
Can you say my name is Cougar in Spanish?
Como estoy?
It's Craig.
Cougar. See, I don't even know,
bro. Let me kick it back. 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 Hey boy, right there, what you gonna do if they gonna do you like that? I'm a wild boy and I need to be arrested. Don't catch cases, I just catch blessings. We can dance around it, but we.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very, very special episode of Fehr the Burn. I just feel like it's special anytime I'm on. I feel like a special person. No, I'm just kidding. Welcome back, everybody, to Fehr the Burn. I am your co-host, Cougar Coburn.
And I am your other co-host, Chandler Special Ed Fehr.
And we are the men that put together Fehr the Burn. And we are back again for another episode. And we're going to talk about all sorts of good shit. Because I wanted to do this one because of my, literally recent, past 2 weeks, 3 weeks of interacting with YouTube and the new era that we are in. I think we're literally in a new era. So I want to talk about that shit. And I am going to make a good ass case at why this stuff is amazing. You hear that right here? Amazing. You ain't going to get, okay, just think back to the 1900s and you see a guy on a buggy, right? You see a guy on a buggy and a guy in a Ford 1912 drives right by him. And that guy on the buggy's like, I'm never getting on those goddamn cars. I'm riding. No, bro. Y'all are buggy ride motherfuckers. AI is the wave. And I'm going to explain it to you today. So that's what's happening today.
And I will be telling everyone why AI is a demonic force.
Nope. Okay, so, yeah, he will be doing that.
Yeah, I will.
But bear with us here. So
bear with God, my friends.
This is the easiest thing to get this ball rolling, and that is, what is the definition of entertainment to you? What is entertainment? What does that mean to us?
I would say that my definition of entertainment is anything that entertains you that people made.
Right. Okay. And so
we're starting out hot, ladies and gentlemen. What is controversial?
Easy now. We can cut that. If that was too much. But
yeah, it is.
So I agree. It's something that entertains. So say we have this AI sponge, and this AI sponge is a really terrible 3D model world of SpongeBob, and SpongeBob and Patrick just stand there. The audience can suggest topics into the Discord. The creators put the topics into the Discord, and then ChatGPT generates scripts for Patrick and SpongeBob, and then they have the voice, SpongeBob's voice and Patrick's voice, and it's really funny because it's very random and organic and chaotic. But what I found, bro, is that there were 5 to 6 times that I laughed genuinely. It was just, dude, there's some clips that were I was not expecting that. And it's really stupid. It's really base level. You can make fun of it. There's many angles to make fun of it, but that's kind of why it's so awesome, is because that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's not this polished, amazingly produced thing. It's so rough and weird and crazy. It's entertaining as fuck. Mm-hmm. And so that is when that question popped into my head, is what even is entertainment? Because a lot of people may say, things on TV or a stand-up comedy, that's what is funny, comedy entertainment, or a really good comedy movie. But it's dude, but I've watched a few comedy movies, didn't really laugh, and this fucking AI sponge has made me laugh out of my guts multiple times. And so if we are just looking at entertainment and what Hollywood is about, they're the entertainment industry. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that art gets like, oh, well, like these artists are being artistic. Well, the bottom line in Hollywood is money, money, money. It's entertainment. And we can see that with very recent like rap artists and stuff, that like it's the entertainment aspect, not necessarily the creative artistic abilities of somebody. So
well, and we can even see that with the writers strike right now. The Writers Guild of America.
Can you explain? I don't even know what that is. Can you break that
down?
down?
Dude, all of the TV writers right now who write for TV are striking because they want more money. So the Writers Guild of America, the WGA, is like the union of writers who write for screen, and they are currently on strike, which has happened before in the past. So yeah, man, everything does to a sense in the end come down to money, right? Because what the executives of the not screen corporations, but like, you know, like people who put stuff on TV or kind of big movies, they're taking away like writers' rooms, and they're stopping to like employ writers, and they're using it more as like gig work now. And they're like 1099 almost, the writers, and using them as like more of contractors rather than just hiring them out and actually giving them the wages that they've wanted. So yeah,
extremely great business move, but
from the top end,
but does not hold creativity and artistic ability to any really high value. It's the bottom line in the end,
for sure.
So that is one important thing to keep in mind as we're explaining this, is that I'm not coming at this as like, well, I mean, shit, because there's an argument to be made, just like with the new Drake song, Drake AI song,
sure,
called Heart on My Sleeve, featuring The Weeknd.
Yeah,
bro, that is a great song.
Yeah,
and I showed my sister. She said that she heard it 50 times on TikTok, and she thought it was Drake. She assumed that it was Drake. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Again, that song is entertaining and sounds good. So what does the song need? Does the song need to be the Drake be the one on the mic singing? Or is it good enough if it sounds like Drake? Well, for me, when I was listening, I was like, bro, this song, if you showed anybody, they would not be able to tell, and they would enjoy the song.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the thing is, if someone can capitalize monetarily on that, that's where I think you would run into problems, because you're making money off of someone's likeness, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, YouTube, like that channel that the artist's name is Ghostwriter, which is amazing. All the ad revenue that was on his channel, it just got directed straight to Drake. And so I don't think that there's going to be an issue of intellectual property stolen, because any money that's being made through ads or anything like that using someone's likeness just went straight to Drake's channel. You see what I'm saying?
Interesting.
And so I also am struggling with, like, dude, if I had a truck and it was like a file on a computer and someone could copy and paste it and they could have a truck, I don't know if I'd say that's really stealing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
would you want them to steal you? What if they could copy you online, and then they could go, oh, I'll just make myself a cougar?
Yeah, I think that me putting my voice and my essence onto the internet has opened that opportunity up. That would just be like people being rude on the internet. If you get on the internet, you can expect that. Mm-hmm. As we go forward, it's like, well, what else do we expect other than, and it's not going to be me, because no one cares about me. It's going to be very famous people with names that will bring, because like no one's clicking on an AI song by Cougar Covert. People are clicking on AI songs by Drake, by Freddie Mercury. And that's a whole nother aspect of the creativity that's going into this, is that you have to find voices that match, like voices like Bruno Mars, Michael Jackson, Freddie Mercury, The Weeknd. Those are there's a different aspect of appreciating voices that I found when I'm listening and like comparing Michael Jackson's voice to Freddie Mercury's when Freddie Mercury is on a Michael Jackson song. I recommend listening to some of those on YouTube. They're great. But that's kind of where I'm at. I'm very entertained by them. It's a new era that I don't think can be stopped. I think that there will be things put into place that like money will not be stolen. And I also, like, bro, Drake is having people make good songs for him that then he owns and can perform. if that's made in his likeness, he could go out on stage and perform that song and people would love that. And so this was, again, this is the whole thing of like back in the day, CD companies and enterprises and Hollywood studios and shit, they didn't want MP3s, like file MP3s. They didn't want that stuff. They wanted hard physical copies that you had to purchase, because who's stopping you from making a million files of an MP3 and giving it to a bunch of people? Well, no one. So you have to figure out how to lean into it. And now we have different like ways of going about this with art on the internet instead of just forcing people to buy CDs. So go at that. Go for it.
Oh man.
Because this is a sensitive topic, I feel like, to a lot of people, when it's kind of coming towards the artistic side. It's not just like a calculator now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. And this is conversations that we've had conversations about really since they've been, happening. And we even have a episode on this going back further. You can check out our episode with Tanner Ketterman, where me and TK sit down and talk about if AI art is legit and whatnot. I think, man, there's two things about what you've said that I disagree with. The first one is the capitalization issue. So you bring up that these people have made TikTok songs or YouTube songs or whatever with Drake's name and likeness and put his name in the title and then, put his voice over the song and whatnot. And that in the end of it, Drake is the one receiving the money, which is great if like that would be the case always. I think the issue is there's no way to really truly ensure that would always happen. For example, there was already a group of actors who, actors are talking all the time. They have so much recorded voice that obviously their AI can go over stuff. And they've had AI voice actors voice over audiobooks, that they've been selling the audiobooks. And now the voice actors found out about it and are suing them, right? Rightfully so. Mm-hmm. So I agree with you. If we could for sure definitely determine that the actor is, or the performer, the entertainer, whatever it is always going to get the money allotted to them on the other side, then that would be one thing. But I think actually making sure that happens is a lot harder done than it is just said. Bless you.
I agree.
My second issue with it, bro, is it's kind of a communist way to look at things a little bit, because you're not fucking Drake. Like, that's my problem, bro. It's like we can talk about AI and all of this shit, right? And it's like a pencil where you can just write in, make these logos or make these cartoons or whatever. And then on the other side, and without my inspiration to the AI machine, then that art wouldn't have happened. Well, that art also wouldn't have happened if fucking Rembrandt didn't paint the fucking lady with a pearl, right? Or a unicorn, or whoever it is, Michelangelo, I forget who the fucking painter is, right? My issue, bro, is it's like, listen, this is my problem, right? Drake's an A, okay? These motherfuckers who are making these songs got B to C lyrics and they got fucking D to F voices, okay? But because they fucking have the opportunity to have Drake, everybody's a C. I don't like that, bro. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I totally see that. I think that it's the inevitable place that we're gonna be, though. And so,
no, I agree with that, Cougar. And I think, sorry to cut you off, but it's like
you're good.
Talking about, of course we're in a new wave, right? To even make the argument that we're not in a new wave is like not crazy, but it's just, of course we are, right? Like everyone's calling it Internet 3.0 or whatever the fuck the actual like term is for it, right? Everyone's going online. Like, have you seen like the metaverse game that they're promoting all over the place? Bro, that thing is gonna suck people in, dude. You thought WoW was bad? Bro, yeah. I'm popping. I'm so angry, dude. Yeah. You thought WoW was bad, dude? I forget what it is. Asgard's Revenge 2 or whatever the fuck is gonna make people just go comatose.
Yeah, it is. I'm afraid of that. And because it's so much better in our minds when we get all this feedback. We know the whole thing. It's going to suck people in. But that's also the thing with Drake, man, is just like, okay, if your skill, so what do you tell somebody who they write articles for people and their job is then monetized by ChatGPT, because I can write an article without hiring you. We're going to have to start being more creative in what value we bring to the table. And so Drake bringing his voice to the table, it's like, okay, well, a computer can do that. What else can you do? Oh, you can't do anything other than that. Okay, well, guess what? A computer can do exactly what you are doing. And that's what it is. The consequences of that are going to be that people with computers are going to be doing, it's the same thing with like FL Studio and stuff. It went from chums being outside and people having studios to like, well, anyone with a computer can do anything that a professional is doing at any time. So this new Drake song, this guy wrote the lyrics, made the beats, sang it, and then put the AI on it.
Do you know who it is?
I just know his name's Ghostwriter. I'm sure you could find him, but that's like that's the name of like the joke of the meme, you know?
Do you know who Connor Masura? I think it's Connor Masura.
I don't think so.
He's the first guy who I know who made a Drake AI song.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was the first person. He has the song Mercury. If you look up Mercury, Connor Drake AI, I'm sure you'll find it. But yeah, he put Drake's AI voice over his song with the lyrics Mercury. And Connor Masur also is doing a lot of other crazy shit too. Like he like posed as Elon Musk on Twitter for a little bit. And I think you could buy a blue check mark or some shit. And so he like actually verified himself, I think, as Elon, and just was saying all sorts of crazy shit. And Elon came for him. Yeah, dude. But I mean, yes, I agree. Like if his voice just being out there, right, is a tool for people to use. Yeah, I agree, right? It's a tool, but it's also I heard Ice Cube say it like this. It's like a sample. It's like people can't sample your music and then not pay you or not request the rights to even really put it out.
Yeah. Yep. And so if you own the likeness, I think that like, everyone's just going to have to shift where if they, but also like, bro, like I don't see how this guy making this song is only making Drake more famous because we're talking about him.
Bro, I don't think that's the problem. The problem is the real problem is the monetization. That's the real problem.
I think that it's extremely difficult to monetize. And then even if there's any monetization, I mean, like, again, how much is that hurting Drake? How is it hurting Drake? If he made $1,000 in ad revenue, how does that hurt Drake's brand?
That's a good question, right? It doesn't necessarily hurt Drake, like it makes Drake more popular. But the problem is that guy's not Drake.
Right. And I think that's a fair argument. But the problem we're going to run into is that if someone says Drake AI song, then can they do it? Because it's like if they make you can go on YouTube and type in Drake type beat.
Mm-hmm. That's for sure. Yeah,
but those that are trying to kind of mimic Drake. Okay, well, if we can get a software that mimics his voice, what's the difference in that? If we're just trying to make a Drake type song, you know?
Right. I think the scary thing, especially when you start bringing people's voices into things, is what you can make them say. Right, because you could make Drake look like a pedophile.
Absolutely.
Right. You could write some R. Kelly jam for this dude to talk about, you know, going back to Toronto and pissing on some 13-year-old girl's leg. Absolutely. You know what I mean? And
so I would advocate anyone that hears any song or anything that you'd be like, wow, I would verify through if you hear a song by Drake, go see if that's posted on Drake's actual page. I think it's up to the viewer to understand what is going on.
Yeah, I do agree with that to a sense, right? And we talk about that all the time too, because YouTube will put up, especially on our videos, we'll put up oftentimes like disclaimers on our videos, right? They're like, just so you guys know, this isn't true, right? Mm-hmm. And it is a bit ridiculous for big tech to think they have to baby their consumers who can't do the research on their own. So I do agree with that to a certain sense, right? The issue is like you can make people say a lot of stuff, but even just like taking our frame outside of YouTube, like people find out ways to capitalize all sorts of shit. You know, all sorts of ways on all sorts of different platforms. So that is where I still think that it would be an issue where even on other platforms, we don't know what their policies are, if they're even aware of the problem.
Right. So what's the problem with AI Sponge? They were charging $4 and you could be like this fish that was walking around in the background and it would say your name above him.
Mhm.
And then it was like $1 to get your topic guaranteed to be put in. Do you think that, because obviously Paramount didn't like that, do you think that that's crossing a line?
That's interesting, right? Because they own SpongeBob, right? And these guys are using AI to directly. Yeah, I would say that it's wrong to a certain sense. Like streaming, like you can't just like stream a movie and then have, play it on your stream on like Twitch and make money off of it.
Right.
Like you
Right.
can't use stuff that people already own to make money off of it for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's why that shit got taken down like instantly. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
so,
and I think like inherently that it's wrong? No, right? Like I don't think it's inherently wrong that like these guys figured out a way to make AI Sponge and then
Right,
makes money off of it. Right.
Yeah.
I don't. But like just in the scheme of rights for artists and the people who have developed that, or the companies who own it, God forbid,
Mhm.
like for them it is inherently, an issue. Like I wouldn't want someone making an audiobook out of my voice and then selling it and then, making money off of it. I wouldn't.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah, as we move forward, I don't know how we're going to be able to tell if there's any clip of any future president that's like, oh my gosh, he said this. It's like, man, how do I know that? How do we know that shit? We're stepping into a very weird time. But I think that it's going to be what's going to be a huge fuel of this is entertainment. And I think that a lot of entertainment that humans have been entertaining themselves with for the past 100, 200 years are starting to like die off. I don't think people are as invested in all of these big things. I mean, just like most of sports, their attendance is way down. Hollywood's viewership of like the fucking Oscars or the Emmys or the whatever stupid award show that they all have, no one watches that shit anymore. So now it's just like an elitist party where they all just suck each other's dick. And it's like, no one cares about that anymore. We're like, AI Sponge is better than Hollywood. That's what is happening. And that's what we're realizing is like, wow, we don't need Avatar to be entertained. Avatar is great, bro. That's a fucking crazy ass movie. We need AI Sponge. That's all we need. We need Freddie Mercury on Billie Jean. We need Mr. Krabs on Billie Jean, bro.
Or which one? The one that's going around on my algorithm right now is the Frank Sinatra, the till the sweat drops down my balls, till all these bitches crawl.
I mean, bro, I laugh so hard at that. And it's like, damn, bro. Like, I don't know the last time Hollywood did something that I watched that I had a huge smile on my face that I was laughing happily.
Yeah. And Hollywood also has just gotten so far woke at this point that it's disgusting. And I don't think that it's swinging back around like to be like, oh, now we're gonna go super raunchy and super like in everything. But I think enough people are also figuring out that they don't want to live like that and that they're not entertained that way. So I think that along with the AI art, you're gonna start getting a lot of like other smaller independent type movie makers. Like I don't know if you're aware of any of the Daily Wire movies.
Like I think the What Is a Woman, is that one of them?
No, they have like legit movies too.
No,
yeah, which I just figured out about. And the What Is a Woman thing is actually kind of funny to me too. The documentary is really good. I'm not a Daily Wire member, so I haven't seen any of the movies either. I presume that they're I'll go out on a limb and say at least as good, if not better, than probably Hollywood movies because they're not trying to push some agenda on you. Like you could give me a fucking shitty ass performance, bro. As long as you're not trying to tell me to go out and suck a dick immediately after this movie theater, I'll take it, dog.
Right.
I'll take it. I'll suck a little dick, but don't be forcing it down my throat, bro. Don't be forcing it on me. That's rape, dog. Okay.
Yep.
Fucked up. So I think that you will see a lot of, like you're saying, like a lot more like AI type generated art, and I think also just art from artists and people who are just kind of pushing back against that.
Right. Well, I mean, think about this, bro. We're gonna have artists that aren't very good at singing, but that could get, say they get like a 50% Drake AI voice or a 25% AI voice. Where's the line at? Does it have to sound exactly like Drake and then be marketed as Drake actually wrote it? Because then it kind of turns into like it's auto-tune. Well, if someone's singing it, they're auto-tuning their voice to sound a certain way. So what if someone just auto-tuned their voice in FL Studio and it sounded just like Drake?
Right.
Would that be wrong? You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of people would, I wouldn't see any problem with that, because people
Well, I bet there's a lot of people back in the day that would like just put what's it called? Yeah, auto-tune on their voice, right? And just be like, I'm making a T-Pain song.
Exactly.
I'm sound like T-Pain.
Yep.
Yeah, dude. The AI sponge is pretty funny to me. The one that made me laugh was about flat Earth.
Oh shit! I
don't know if you saw that. No. Yeah, it's a little clip about flat Earth. Can I tell you real quick? I haven't done this joke on stage, and there's going to be 15 people who watch this. Can I share this flat Earth bit that I have with you?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I want to start out by being like, I got a confession to make. This is one of my jokes. I'll just say it on the podcast. It's fine. I got a confession to make. And since the Catholic church up the street is closed and mine walked out on me, I figured that you guys could be my father for tonight. And my confession is that I love Jesus, right? Which today is a very tumultuous thing to say in our society. And I love Jesus. I just don't know how I feel about the Bible, because I don't know how I feel about flat Earth, right? And people can argue and tell me that it's not in the Bible, and the Bible doesn't say anything about flat Earth. But listen, there's a word called the firmament, right? It got taken out of the Bible. It got replaced with this word expanse. There's waters above, waters below. Think about rainbows. Like why does the rainbow look like it's stretching from one side to the other, almost in a dome shape? We live on pillars. This is all biblical, okay? And I'm not saying that flat Earth is real, but I am saying that space makes no fucking sense, dude. At the end of the day, like, people want to say, I've told you this, people want to say, right, that we live in a galaxy that's just a speck on a speck on a speck on a speck on a speck, right? But we know more about the entirety of all of the universe than we do about our own ocean. Hey, scientist, fuck you. You're telling me that we are in the middle of nothingness and we know more about that than we do about the water on our dumb rock, right? So, like, people, like astronomers will literally look in the sky and be like, man, you go to like Montana, right? You go to Arco, it's beautiful, right? You look up at the sky, it's just filled with stars, dude. You're like, oh my God, that's beautiful. And that astronomer will look at you and be like, yeah, those aren't actually there. And you're like, what? And you're like, yeah, those actually are dead stars from so far away, but they're millions of light years away, but we can see them now. That doesn't make any fucking sense, dude. And lastly, and this is where I'll go deep, right? I don't know if anyone here knows about Operation Paperclip, but right after World War II, we pardoned a lot of like German scientists and brought them over here to create what? NASA, right? To get us to the moon. And what did they do? Those Nazis got us to the moon, right? Proving that we live on a globe, because that's where we get the blue marble, the perfect, fucking spherical Earth, okay? Which isn't CGI produced at all, or enhanced, or made for that matter. And I don't know about anybody else, but I just know what I've been told to do to Nazi sympathizers. And it's not good things.
Hey, good things.
So that's like the beginning.
Oh, bro, that's what beautiful comedy is provoking, makes you consider some shit. That's like the deepest, I think, like the biggest hitting idea in the whole, like, really thinking about all this shit. But like, that's beautiful comedy, is when someone says a joke and you're like, damn, I'm actually like really thinking and like kind of like, oh shit, I wasn't ready for that shit, you know? That's awesome, bro. And it's funny as fuck.
Thanks, man. Thanks, man. It's about shit that people are just uncomfortable with.
Way
Yeah.
uncomfortable with. I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. Oh, that's awesome. Dude, and also on this topic, Operation Paperclip and whatnot, I learned there was an operation called Operation Dominic. And Dominic is a series of operations where they were blowing up nukes on land, in the ocean, and in the air. The ones in the air were called Operation Fishbowl. And one of the explosions on that was, or one of the bombs was called Chama. Okay.
Okay.
So hopefully I can share this real quick.
Yeah, you should be able to share your screen
I
here.
have a beautiful picture that I took a screen grab of because I was like, dude,
You've
I gotta
told me
have
about
that.
Operation Dominic and Operation Fishbowl. I've never heard of Chama though.
Yes, Chama is one of the very interesting things here. So share screen. See Chama right there.
First time Cougars have ever been using Zoom for a podcast
Boom.
here.
Okay, you
There
see
we go.
that?
Yeah, Operation Dominic.
So then in the right corner, it used to be that this picture, this is on the Wayback Machine. I had to get on the Wayback Machine because they changed the picture. Dominic Chama in the right corner of that explosion, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so if you go and you look up the definition of Dominic, it means of the Lord. If you look up the definition of Chama, it means shell. We have the shell of the Lord, Operation Fishbowl, and they were sending nukes up. And it makes sense. High altitude nukes. You're just trying to see what your nukes can do. Very interesting names, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would be more towards referring to a firmament more than an expanse, which is like doesn't prove anything. But in this realm of thinking, it's like, damn, man, why couldn't you could have just named it anything else and there wouldn't be any more like kind of thought-provoking things and we could be done with it. But damn it, you had to do that, and why? Words mean things. Words are chosen specifically because they mean things. They don't just randomly choose things. I'm not just randomly choosing words. I'm choosing very specific words. But I can only go that far. That's as far as I can't expand and say, well, it means this. It has to mean this, you know, but just
Well,
kind of.
speaking of words, bro, we should honestly do an episode on the different versions of the Bible and the Westcott and Hort shit and kind of just the tampering.
Yeah.
Just the tampering with all of that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And also, Coog, I know that you wanted to talk about this a little bit. Tell me about learning Spanish.
Yeah, see. No, dude, I went to I chaperoned a prom with my fiance. She's a teacher, and it was at a predominantly Mexican school. Okay, maybe Hispanic would be, I don't know the correct term.
Latin,
but they were playing hella Mexican music. That's all I know, and
Okay.
they were not white people in there. So whatever that means. Mexican people, they were just dancing, bro. They knew all these dances to all these songs, and everybody like it was like almost like a quinceañera, like just the like unity and the familia of everything was just like, damn, dude, that's actually pretty cool. Because like when I listened to what I listened to in high school, it was all about fucking and doing drugs and being a straight up motherfucking G. Not this shit, not like wholesome, cool ass dancing and fun and everyone's laughing and screaming and shit. I was like, damn, this is cool. I love this. I got going forward a little more, started listening to some songs, and I was just like, damn, bro, if you pay attention to the way that a child learns how to speak, that's how I want to apply Spanish into my life. So most people, I have many people in my life who tried to learn Spanish, and they learn it by saying, so like Principio means beginning in Spanish, okay?
Okay.
Principio, however you say it, however the correct. Everyone gets really caught up on like the exact pronunciation. You have to pronounce it exactly right. And oh, here's this Spanish word. Here's what it means. It's here's whether it's a feminine or a masculine usage. And in this context, you can use it like this, but in this context, you can use it like this, and blah 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 blah. Bro, kids do not put a million fucking words in between words that they're learning. They just learn the word. So like when a little kid learns hello, they have been watching and they're copying people saying hello. You don't sit a 2-year-old down and say, hello is a greeting that originates from this country and that it is used in this. You don't do that shit. That's not how you learn. And adults, bro, that's like, we think that we can just force ourselves. Like people were just like, I'm just going to force myself to learn Spanish. And it's like, fucking good luck. That shit is hard, bro. And so how I've been coming at it, like we watched my friend's little kid today all day, and he would do this thing where he had this tube and he would like blow it at us, and we would be like, oh, and then he'd be like, I blew you away. And then he kept saying it over and over and over. And then we were eating these crunchy little cereals, and I was like, oh yeah, this is crunchy. And he would put one in his mouth, crunch it, and say crunchy, put it in his mouth, crunch it, crunchy. And I was like, bro, this motherfucker is learning language right in front of me. This is how you do it. This is how you do it. He's not going to know crunchy forever if he only did it one time. But he's going to know crunchy because we literally said crunchy like 100 times today. You see what I'm saying? And so I have these little phrases from the Bible, these quotes from these songs that are helping me pronounce and enunciate. But it's like, I just want to have it around me and put it together as I go in my life. So like, I'm thinking 10, 20, 30 years down the line, people want to know Spanish in the next year. And like, I'll know a little bit of Spanish in the next year because of where I'm headed with it. But like, if I force myself to do it, I'll stop within the next 2 weeks and then I'll never do it again. But if I can put myself in an environment where everywhere I drive, it's just Spanish music, bro. I'm just trying to like, okay, what is he saying right there? Okay. And at like a stoplight, I'm like typing it into Google Translate. Okay. That word means nothing. Okay. So what? So there's this one word where it says like, que nunca vato. And it means like, it's saying that there's no vato, there's no man that acts like me. Como yo actúo, okay? But like I knew vato, I've heard that word just like in my life.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Like super like valid way.
Right.
Yeah,
and so you can see these sentences. It's like, oh, I kind of recognize that word. So they're talking about a guy. Okay. This word means none. There's none. Oh, K means there is none. There's no guys. Cause again, it's the phrasing is a lot different than English. And everyone knows that who knows Spanish. And like, I'm very new and shit, but like, there has to be like an excitement to it in an environment that you are going to do it for a long period of time. Because if you treat it like I have to sit down and study this shit from a book and just kill myself with it, most people do not last very long. And that is not how the best Spanish speakers learned how to speak Spanish. They didn't learn like that. And so I'm like, I want to learn like the real Spanish speakers will learn, not like white people learn. Fuck that shit.
Well, in a year, right? Like how you're saying how people like force themselves to learn Spanish in a year. In a year, you'll have the comprehension of like a 2-year-old.
Right. Exactly, bro.
Right. Because you're not like a 1-year-old where you're like just learning how to like even form sounds. Right. You're starting to get a grip on the language. So you're probably going to be about, a year ahead of where you will be. So like 2 years in, you'll probably know about as much as a 3-year-old, right? With the trajectory that you're looking at.
Absolutely. And so it's all about sustainable practices. And I've talked to so many people about this shit. And the second they start talking about it, I'm like, dude, you make it sound so boring. We start doing the whole like, hello, my name is Cougar. Hello, my name is Cougar. And it's like, dude, I understand that that's like, if you're going to be a tourist and you're going to go to Mexico, that should be like one of the first things that you learn, blah, 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 blah. But like, dude, I want to say like, I want to say some poetical, beautiful shit. You know what I'm saying?
Jesus King, bro. You want to say Jesus, it's Lordito.
I'm laughing too hard over here.
Can you say my name is Cougar in Spanish?
Como estoy, Cougar? See, I don't even know, bro.
This is like when he started loving God, and I was like, Cougar, like that's great that you're listening to a lot of sermons about Jesus, man. He's like walking with you, but like you reading the Bible, and you're like, nah,
Not at all.
not a little bit.
I know how to. Fuck yeah! Like I just know.
I think you would say Mayamo. That's what I think.
Me amo. I would.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's
like
Mayamo. Yes.
it's funny because like my one friend would send me like he would ask where the bathroom was, and I don't know the words going to it, but bathroom means el baño.
Donde está el baño?
Donde está el baño? Yes. So he would ask me that, and then instead of like trying to give a perfect sentence back, I would imagine myself like, what would I say if I was in Mexico and someone asked me that and I had to answer right now? I couldn't like try to preface it. And bro, like it comes out like he would just laugh at my shit because I wasn't using any help at all. And it's like, if you've ever heard a Chinese man who can't speak very good English speak, that's exactly how I would sound to someone who speaks Spanish. Like, oh, bro, you're butchering this. But the thing is, I don't give a fuck. If I can say, me gusta el baño, me gusta el baño, that means it pleases me bathroom. Someone would say that way. They would say that way. You know what I'm saying? Like they would understand. Like if I was sitting there saying me gusta el baño, and that's all I knew, they would say, oh, dude, el baño that way. You know what I'm saying? Like you can get the message across without perfect, exact grammar because that is going to be the long haul that's coming. And so I'm just trying to get some basic messages. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, man, I think it's beautiful.
Thank you.
Honestly, yeah, dude. I think it's a good way to approach learning. And camera's freaking out here. You know, I've tried to learn languages too. I think a lot of people try to learn languages, and at the end of the day, bro, it is about longevity, right? And you think about this, dude. Like, think about how well a fucking, you know, how old was the kid that you were babysitting today?
2 years old.
Yeah, dude. So he's just learning language, right? Like you guys are on like the same fucking wavelength. In 6 years, bro, you'll be talking fine.
That's what I'm saying. Because he was saying shit today. He had no idea what it meant. He was just copying what I said. And so adults are very concerned about like, oh, this word, what's the meaning? What's the meaning? No, bro, can you just say it? I know like my sister tried to learn for a year. So she knows like grammatical rules and like this and that, but like she can't pronounce really anything. And like, bro, that's what music shows you exactly how to pronounce a word. You just got to copy it. Like it's so easy, bro. And then you can find like certain songs are very repetitive, and all songs are repetitive in some ways, but like each line they would end like every single line. And so when I heard that song, I was like, okay, that's easy. That will be easy for me because I already know how each line, I'm already familiar with the end of each line because it's so repetitive, and then I can work my way backwards. So it's like cabron. Okay, so from right there, what's the word before that? You start to like get familiar with words throughout his phrase, and then it comes together, bro. It's so beautiful. It's so cool. Like it's just like, this is so amazing, but it takes a long time because I'm not forcing myself to sit down and learn the exact meaning of these songs. I'm trying to like pronounce it correctly and have like be able to like say multiple words in a row. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just like, I don't know. I just am not like a very good school learner. You know, like I struggled with that.
Oh, that's okay, bro. I think everyone from Marco is. So
that might be the truest shit I've ever heard, man. I'm glad I'm not the only one, I guess.
No, I've met all you guys, and I'm like, there ain't no way you guys would do good in school.
None of us got a college degree out here, bro. There's a reason.
Yeah, you guys are some of the smartest motherfuckers that I've met, man. I mean, it's like a Lego set, right? It's like as a kid, like you're not putting together like legit Lego sets, but the older you get, the more that you actually do want to be like, oh, you know, let me make the Millennium Falcon, or let me make this cool truck. You know, you're starting out with just Lego sets and like putting blocks together and being like, man, that kind of looks like a car. Okay, cool.
I could kind of see how you would see that that's a car. Like I get the message. It's not a blimp. It's not a tractor. I can see how it's kind of a car. It doesn't
Yeah,
look
but
like
then
a
when you're
car
hitting
very
people with
well.
Me Gusta El Baño, bro, that's when you tried to make a car and they look at it and they go, "This looks like a lion, bro.
Yeah,
This
like,
looks
wait a
like
minute.
the buggy and horse that we were talking about at the beginning of the show, dude."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, so it's been cool. It's like I got a Spanish Bible, and so I've been, en el principio creo Dios lo seas la tiara. That's verse 1. I read it just over and fucking over and over, just like, yeah, just a flow, just trying to get a flow, trying to say multiple words, because I've also noticed that like Spanish requires you to use different parts of your mouth, like further back, como yo actúa, versus like when I'm speaking English, it's all in the front. Like there's vibration and it's all right there. But like I'm feeling like, oh, I'm using my cheeks, I'm using the back of my throat. Like it's really weird to see like Spanish is not just what does this word mean? Oh, it means this word. Okay, I know Spanish. It's like it's delivery, it's context, it's swagger, it's culture, it's so much more than just like a piece of paper that you try to memorize shit on. And that's what's so cool is it's so deep. It's just probably infinite, I would assume.
I remember one time, dude, I was at this Mexican restaurant with my friend, and he's the whitest guy who I might have ever met. He's from Fairbanks, Alaska.
Okay, nice.
And super good guy, dude. But when we were at the Mexican restaurant, he was like, "Yeah, can I get a burrito? And on the side, can I get some pico de gallo?" And like the way that he said pico de gallo, like to me, I just laughed at him, dude, because I was like, "Bro, just say pico de gallo." Like that, you just don't have to you don't have to sound Spanish to say it. But the thing that I learned is you kind of do. Right, that's the point of it. Is or one of my friends, I think he like doesn't go by one of his last names because it's like Gutierrez or something like that. And I asked him, I was like, why don't you just go by Gutierrez? And he was like, because that's why. He's like, because nobody can say my last name correctly, and that's not his last name, but it was something along those lines.
Right.
And that's actually why we have accents. Right, if you think about it, like that's why people from different countries, like speaking as an English speaker, sound so different. It's because in Spanish or in Italian or in German, they're using a different part of their voice, so they grew up sounding like that. So for them to sound like us is like damn near kind of impossible.
Right, it's extremely hard, and that's to sound completely fluent in Spanish is extremely hard. You get a Chinese man who comes to America, if he wants to learn American and he wants to genuinely know how to pronounce tractor, it's not tractor. And if his accent says that and he's fine with it, okay, I know you're talking about tractor. I mean, it's tractor, but like tractor is fine. And so
that's a tractor.
That's a tracker. And so it's where the line of like how far does this person want to go with the learning? Because again, if it's just basic messages, people get too caught up on like, well, it's tractor. Yeah. And it's like, well, you knew what I was saying, even if I didn't say the at the end, like
I do think we should take a page out of Asians' books, bro, and just be like, no, like just learn it. And who gives a fuck if you straight up don't know anything? Move to these people's country, dude, and set up a restaurant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Who gives a fuck if you can talk to your staff, dude? Honestly, at the end of the day, do they want the food, dog?
Yep.
You know, I've talked to a ton of Asian people straight out of Asia, bro. They've said 5 words and they literally don't give a fuck.
Yep. And they live in people live in
our
country and they know 5 words. And so yeah, you can do it. It's
and like you said, dude, like they're just getting the point across.
Yeah.
Right. Like when I was working at Jin Sen, that Thai restaurant that I was telling you about.
Yeah.
That lady, bro, I understood nothing that she said, dude, but I understood everything she was trying for me to get. Yep. Go this way. Don't fucking take the bowls separate. Like take them at the same time. Mm-hmm. But she just say together. Go. They gotta go.
Yeah, exactly, bro. And so that's what I want to kind of be that comic relief to fluent Spanish speakers as well. That like when I'm like together, and it's like man, like I wouldn't say it like that, but like I like that's like flavor. You're adding flavor to this environment where we're not just speaking like a fucking textbook. That's beautiful. And
Well,
also,
the beautiful
bro,
thing about
go
it
ahead, go
too
ahead.
is, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go. I was kind of redirecting the subject, so I'll get there. You go.
No, I'll finish on that thing one more too, right? Because the cool thing is, like you're saying, adding flavor, because you don't speak that same language fluently and like native like everyone else. You inherently will have a different experience than them. So you are adding a certain flavor, even if people want to say that white Americans don't have any culture and don't have any flavor to them, which to some white Americans, yes, definitely is true. They're fucking vanilla ass bitches, dude. But even inherently, if you were just in Colombia, right, and you were speaking with these people and you were some granola person, you would have a different experience. So you are adding some level of like flavor. God forbid they wouldn't kill you.
Right. Absolutely. And I've also noticed in this journey, I've talked to a few white people who know Spanish fairly well. One person went and like traveled into a country and like was there for like a year and learned it and knows it very well. But I've also noticed that then these people kind of take it upon themselves. They're like the gatekeepers of Spanish. And so now if anyone comes along and tries speaking Spanish, well, in the second verse of Genesis, it's like Elatiada Esteban desordenada. It's like Esteban, and I say Esteban. I say like Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. Esteban Zulia Hologarcado Ramirez. And so like I read the verses out and she was just very like boom, boom, right on that. You know what I'm saying? Because again, I want to be criticized. I'm not trying to run away from criticism, and like that stuck with me. The Esteban. She even how she said it, I was like, fuck, I'm gonna struggle saying that shit. Like it's
probably Esteban, huh?
Esteban. Something like that.
Well, because there's go ahead. Sorry, I'll go after you.
Well, but it was just that she was really trying to like we spent a lot of time and energy on like a slight inflection of an A in a 7-letter word. And it's like, okay, like you're right. You are technically right. And I'm not arguing that, but like if you were teaching somebody this and you focus that much on these tiny, I mean, think about it, bro. We just went from 5 words and you can exist in a country to like, well, it's Esteban versus Esteban. It's like, okay, that's a first world problem. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
Technically, dude, you are getting 5 of the 7 letters, right? So you're getting like
exactly
72% of the word,
that but the A, exactly.
Yeah,
I'm getting the N, perfect. Yeah, no. Exactly.
I mean, I get it because Spanish seems a lot more rigid as far as like what letters say what than English is. Because English we have like, well, you know, I and E, and sometimes they can be switched, and the Y, who knows what the fuck that's saying all the time. And like but like Spanish, like it does seem like I was even going to correct you earlier when you said familia or whatever, and I was going to be like, it's familia. I would venture to say.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And thank you for that. That's I do want to know those things. I really do. You know.
Yeah, like I could tell you what all the consonants are or all the vowels, right? Like I could like go through the vowels with you. Yeah, but at the end of the day, I think that you're right. Where if someone is fluent in Spanish, right? If there was a fucking tractor on the side of the road and the dishwasher from Jinsen who touched my ass, right, looked at that and said, "Chaka, that's Chaka." You'd go, "That's a tractor." You're right, Dog.
You're absolutely right.
You don't have like 4 of the letters, but you're right. Yeah.
Like I see you, bro. And that's like when you're learning, that's like a kid. You don't want to say, no, that's a tractor. You say, no, that's right. It's a tractor. You can say what is correct without having to say no. Cause it's like, well, dude, you're absolutely on the right path. So don't make someone think that they're not on the right path just because you want to high and mighty, silly little consonants within these words when that's not like, I'm not there yet. And so if you're going to treat a 3-year-old like I'm a 11th grader in grammar class, like I'm going to fail and drop out in 5 seconds easily. I know myself 100%. And so it's just been cool because the Bible has taught me how to learn. I feel like I would attest that, bro. It's taught me how to divide things up. It's taught me how to research and study things. So like I study these songs, like I study the Bible. Like I get one phrase. I'm like, damn, okay, what could that mean? How could I, what does that mean to me initially? And then I look into it. I get each word put side by side with the English word and like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, it says this, but like the order is different. Why is that? Like you will learn a lot of rules and shit, just like breaking down one little verse that you're familiar with because you can sing it. I can scream so many verses just out loud, like, oh, and some of them I don't know what they mean, and I'm still figuring that out. But it's very easy when it's in me, when it's inside, that I can repeat it to try to refine it, you know? So it's been cool to just not only learn that, but like really try to break down how I want to learn. And other people don't have to do it, but like how I'd like to learn things. And I would really say that the Bible has completely taught me how to do that shit, like to a pretty good, not high, but like just a decent for my life level, you know?
And don't have righteous judgment to your friends when they're trying to learn Spanish, damn it.
And don't judge by appearance when you are watching your friends learn Spanish. Judge righteous judgment, faux show.
Me gusta el baño.
Me gusta el baño, por favor. Porque me gusta el baño.
What do you think that means again?
I from what I understand, me gusta means it pleases me, or that you like.
I like. Yeah, I think
like,
it's I like
it.
Yeah, I like
el baño. So like I like this thing. Where is it? I feel like someone would point it if I said that.
Me gusta el baño, por favor. I love it, man. I think it's awesome that you're learning Spanish, honestly, because like a lot of people don't go on limbs to like learn shit. The older they get, they kind of think they know everything, and even if they do, they, you know, I think the Bible's kind of helped you as far as when you get into something, like also understanding that it could be like a lifelong journey.
Yeah,
because you've told that to me before, where like you have a tendency to get really invested in something for a little bit and then kind of like fall off the wayside, which I think is a pretty common human trait to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the Bible said
amen in the comments right there, relating to that.
But the Bible's kind of taught you that it's about the longevity and things and not just the immediate desire.
Right. And the immediate learning and having to know right the second is like, well, it may just take a minute to lay it all out, talk about it, ingest it, chew on it, sing about it. It just may take a second. And many people don't want that. They want Duolingo on their phone and sit down and use Duolingo for 5 hours every single day while you're like, instead of looking on Facebook. And I tried doing that. It didn't work. Fucking didn't work at all. I did that like 4 years ago. Did not work even close. And it's like, many people I've seen how they learn, they approach different things the same exact way with the same type of attempt to learn, the same mentality. And that's where it's like, I've had to change how I learn, how I've approached things before. Cause it's like, well, bro, yeah, I'm coming up to things, using it for a month and then never talking about it ever again. And I was like deeply invested. But that's the thing about the Spanish is like, I'm trying to do it in a very sustainable way. So when I speak about it, I'm not making these grand claims of like, you just wait, I'm going to be speaking fluently in the next 6 months. It's like, it's just going to be around me. I'm just going to slowly soak it in, and then we'll see. I may know a few words by the end of it. By the time this whole life is over. Okay, that's wonderful. That's the mindset, and then it makes it very easy.
Feeling separated.
That's the mindset. So
from all the
generation.
generations.
So
Follow the leader of the nation.
And it's definitely something we're called to do. So absolutely. Yeah, dude, that's this episode. Thank everyone for listening and tuning in. Really appreciate it. Cougar is back on the podcast, so he's gonna be on here regularly. Right,
Cougar?
Sound man.
Like you listen, you gonna miss this if you ain't clean.
Hell yeah. So maybe he'll be back every week. He'll be back.
Definitely not every week.
Your girls are my bitches, but they are my misses. And they used to be yours, but you brought that girl in and your letters were booked.
All right, everybody.
Thank you guys.
As much as him,
Love you.
you wanted
Share the burn, don't
but she cut you from the hand, my
Stay
man, my sound always gets around so much. Chris Brown can't look at me now. Bow wow, she bowed down, except not. Why is that? 'Cause by then, you know, I'm out of town, and I don't know if my mind can handle the wave with sounds coming out of the mouths of these youth-filled crowds. I'm feeling separated from all this generation. Follow the leader of the nation without hesitation. They are wanting meditations, using drugs for medication. My mind is always racing. What the hell are you saying? What the hell are you saying? I said we are blind to atrocities we don't know. People always bugging when they can't find their moto. talking motivation like a speaker out in Soho. If you